Hi, I'm Matt Cole, welcome to the Hub Show, and in this episode we're going to be talking about riding in the cold, waterproofs, mudguards and turbo training. Let's get stuck in. The first question is, do you run mudguards? And the options were yes all the time, only when I need them, and no, never, I love the mud. 61% of you are running mudguards all the time, 16% of you only when you need them, and 23% of you say no, never, you love the mud. Now myself, I fitted a brand new mud hugger front guard to my bike on Thursday last week, went out on Friday and it was mint. I really loved it. Let's see what you said. Tev says I have the Synchros bolt-on one on my Fox 36. Johnny324, as someone who lives and rides in Scotland, riding without one would be death. Tim from Wales says I run a small one on the front of my mountain bikes all year round. Chris Kim, being in Australia and being dry all the time means I don't have to run one. Jealous. I reckon a bike looks better without one. Interesting. Tom Holgate says Synchros for the Fox 36, mud hugger for RockShox forks, front only for both full sus and hardtail. And Jamie MTB says, I run a front Synchros Fox mudguard and no rear mudguard. Cheers, Jamie. Thanks for getting involved. Question number 2, do you like riding in the cold? And the options were, yes, I love it, no, I hate it, I don't mind, and it depends. Oh, here we go. This is what you said. 18% of you say you love it, 19% of you hate it, 57% of you don't mind, and 6% depends. Over to me, do I like riding in the cold? Not massively. It's a long way from my heart to my feet, my toes. So they're usually quite cold, and also my little fingers get cold too. But it's not too bad. If you're prepared for it, it's all good. Let's see what you've said. Seth says, I will still ride when it's 20 degrees Fahrenheit because I have no other options. That's minus 6 degrees Celsius. Seth, good on you. James MTB says, if it means I can ride my bike, the cold doesn't bother me, but raining and cold really gets me. Yeah, I feel you, James. Gibson says, I'm 50 now. Things drop off in the cold. My goodness me. Reese Daly says, if I've got the right gear, it's fine. Don't like it being too hot either though. Luckily in the UK, 2/3 of the year, we've got a pretty ideal temperature. True. I'd way much prefer in too hot weather. Shane, but with a 5 instead of the S, very modern, says, as long as I've got the clothing layers I need washed and ready, it's no problem. Let's go. Catherine says, I have anemia and I feel the cold really badly. It makes the start of rides really miserable, but after I get used to not really feeling my hands, it's all good. Fly me, Catherine. Purple Honey Badger, I hate it when I'm breathing hard, like the back of my throat is like cold and it hurts a lot. So I'm constantly drinking water to help, then I run out of water. So shit. Blimey, there's a lot going on your rides, Mr. Purple, or Mrs. Purple Honey Badger. And to wrap this up, Luscious Kyle says, I think boy like to ride when it's cold if it's not damp or really dry. What does that mean? The third question we ask you lovely YouTube subscribers, how do you waterproof yourself on your rides? These are the options. Carry waterproofs with me, wear my waterproof gear, I don't own or use waterproof gear, or other. Now 10% of you just carry your waterproofs and put them on when you want, 30% of you wear them, 58% of you don't own or use waterproof gear, and 2% said other. I got plenty of waterproof gear. I've got the Enduro onesie, which I used a couple of weeks ago, which was mint. It was tipping down with rain. I put it on and it was great. I got waterproof shorts and waterproof jackets too, and some waterproof socks, which on a ride in Scotland were not great because all the water went down my legs inside the socks and I was basically riding around with a mini swimming pool in each of my shoes. Let's see what you said. Ruben says, my go-to waterproof strategy is to find a pre-built structure, normally made by humans, out of bricks to protect humans from the weather and then to stand under it. Not playing along with the game there, Ruben. Kyle says, I ride out in the Tucson desert, so I have no need for waterproof gear. Oh, Kyle, lucky. Roland says, I carry a light waterproof jacket just to keep it a bit dry. We can easily postpone a ride for after the rain and enjoy the hero dirt. Love that, Roland. John David says, generally our trails are closed when wet, so the decision is made for me. On the road, I don't mind getting wet. What I don't like is cold and wet. Then there's cleaning the bike post-ride, not my favourite. Adam says, I live in Southern California, so any rain that we get is a fluke. Oh, Adam. And Dan Pratt says, I've weatherproofed my riding gear by giving it all a spray with the stuff that's used to waterproof tents. You can get a tin of the spray for around £4 to £5 and it works supremely well. Camping shops sell the stuff. Better still, it has added the benefit of stopping mud sticking to your riding gear. Top tip from Mr. Pratt. Next question was really simple and it was, when do you like to ride? The options were, during the day, during the night. I have no preference and it depends. I think we lost the run of ourselves with this question, if I'm honest. 79% of you, weirdly, like to ride during the day. 2% of you during the night, 15% of you have no preference, and 4% of you say it depends. Me, like any other normal 79% of you, like riding during the day. Over to you. MTB Ohana says, I ride whenever I can. In the summer, it's mostly in the morning. In winter, it's mostly midday and night riding. Kyle is getting involved in our questions. Nice one, Kyle. I can't afford to ride in the night. Lights are too expensive. Fair. Trail Pimp, I live in an area with trails right out of the door and I can go whenever. I prefer the morning. PJFO over in the Philippines says, it depends if my wife lets me or not. No matter what time, even at midnight. He's riding even at midnight. Love that. Dusty Vinyl says, it depends on the seasons. Not a lot of daylight in Norway right now. I go for a ride when I feel the urge. Summertime, it never gets dark. Michael Fleming says, I like during the day because when you live in British Columbia, Canada, you need to admire the beautiful country. Yes, Michael. Daniel Farmer says, working 3 jobs and I've got 3 daughters. I ride whenever I can find the time. Yes, Daniel, good on you. Bryce Vogel says, in the morning after a couple of inches of fresh snow. And Seth says, I ride always in the day, although I have the ability to ride in the night. And to finish this one off, Felix Hayes says, I ride all the time except for the nights because I have no lights and I just like seeing what's on the trail, if there's any rocks or branches. And I live where it's very loose dirt and I like to see where the loose dirt is. Also, this is a good point coming up, fixing a flat in the dark would not be my favourite thing. I agree, Felix. Sounds like a nightmare. On to the next. And the last question was a really simple one. Have you ever tried a turbo trainer? The options are yes, no, but I'd like to try one. 18% of you, I'm surprised at this one, have said yes. 37% of you haven't tried one and don't want to. And 46% of you haven't tried one, but you'd like to. I'm lucky enough to try a few, and at the moment I've got a Wahoo kicker bike and it is absolutely mint. I'm really enjoying it. Zwifting in the weeknights and when it's freezing cold or tipping down with rain. Let's see what you've said. Seth says, Seth, you love these questions. Is it just me who doesn't know what one is? Simey91 says, I have a turbo trainer, but I need to swap out the back tyre because it's really noisy with a knobbly mountain bike tyre, so I haven't been using it lately. You definitely need to swap that out because not only will it be really noisy, it'll wreck the tyre in no time. Kyle says, I've done stationary bike workouts at the gym. Does that count? Yeah, I guess so. Charlie Wilson says, it's boring, no jumps, drops, berms or tech. Jamie MTB, I use a turbo trainer in the winter months. Joshua says, when I build a van, I'm going to put one in for when it's too cold or wet to ride. Blimey, how big's your van going to be? Trail Pimp says, I recently got bad tennis elbow and it's freezing here where I live with snow and ice. Did the turbo trainer help with that? Or Louis says, they are awesome and the only reason I won't buy a road bike in addition to my mountain bike. Neb says, I've tried Zwift, it's alright, but just doesn't compare to mountain biking. It definitely doesn't. Michael says, it would be cool to try one, even if I'm not super racer or cross country, but I don't have much space at home. Plus bikes can be dirty. Ivan says, I would never go out of my way to buy one, but if I ended up with one, of course I would try it. So there's no options for my answer. I don't even know what brands there is and what the differences are. Maybe there's a video to be made there, Neil. Timo says, why would I ever want to? I've begun to ride mountain bike to spend more time outdoors in the first place. Mark says, great for all year, but obviously winter, especially now there's Zwift and the like. Agreed, Mark, yes. And to finish this one up, John Day says, they suck because nothing can replace riding in the real world. Wind in your face, the smells of nature, and just the real sensory input you get from the road or trail as you control and manipulate your bike. Cheers, John. There you go, there's another episode of The Hub Show. If you want to answer any questions from this week's show, just click the link in the description. And to get involved in next week's show, head to the community tab. Have a great weekend, thank you, and goodbye. It's called being a professional. Seth. Ho ho ho, welcome to The Hub Show. It's December, guys. Christmas. We need to put you in a booth. Because your face... Just say things that make a difference from now on, please. Your questions this week involve cold weather riding. Have a great weekend, take it easy. Thank you and all the best. There's a lot of hands